Okay, if we can make sure our mics are where we can be heard. Okay, Town of Barnstable, Hyannis Main Street, Waterfront Historic District Commission, June 7th, 2023, 6:30 p.m. To all persons deemed interested or affected by the Town of Barnstable's Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission ordinance under Chapter 112, Article 3 of the Code of the Town of Barnstable, you are hereby notified that a hearing is being held at Town Hall 367 Main Street, Hyannis, Mass. Selectmen's Conference Room, second floor, 6:30 p.m., Wednesday, June 7th, 2023. Please note that this meeting will be recorded and broadcast on Channel 18, and in accordance with MGL Chapter 30A, subsection 20, anyone taking this meeting to please make their presence known. If you could also please silence your cell phones, and I need to take my own advice. There we go. I need to keep that on until it started. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Cornelius Cawley.
Present.
And alternate member. And Jennifer Hinckley Needham did send in notice she will not be able to make it tonight. Commissioner Matt Clark.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Laura Cronin.
Here.
Commissioner Doherty.
Here.
Commissioner Mark Despotopoulos did say he would not be able to make it tonight. Commissioner and Vice Chair Jack Kay.
Here.
And Commissioner and Chair Cheryl Powell, I am also here. We also had the pleasure tonight to have two of our Town Council liaisons, Town Councilor Betty Lucky and Town Councilor Nick Atzelis. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. So, with that, trainings, thank you everyone for renewing for the June 30th deadline and letting it be known if you wanted to continue or not. Thank you very much for continuing those who are. There's no trainings, but if you have not done your conflict of interest training, please check with Cynthia Lovell, and she'll let you know if you need to update that. Next thing we have tonight is very honored guest. Town Councilor Atzelis, can I invite you to bring in our honored guest?
Sure.
Thank you. Oh, we want to get her a chair, too.
I'll give her mine. No, I got you. We got a chair right there.
What? We got this one.
Oh, you guys got this is good. I'm trying to get brownie points. I'll give her my chair.
Oh, thank you very much. That's very kind of you.
I guess another chair.
Do you want to sit next door, or do you want to?
Okay. This is all
Hi.
Have a seat.
We also have another honored guest tonight. We have a state representative, Kip Diggs, and his fiancee, Tracy. And we also have Dave Colombo, who is a former commissioner. Thank you for coming. And we have another former commissioner who we want to honor tonight.
Thank you.
We had put together 3 years ago honoring you, and if with your permission, I'm going to read that out and give this to you. I know that the Town Council has already given you an honor, but we wanted to say thank you as well, because for 3 years it was by unanimous decision. So with your permission, and bear with me, I will read out. Former Commissioner Marina Atzelis left the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront HHDC Commission in January of 2020, having served diligently on the commission since its inception, attending the very first meeting in 1996, offering her service not just to this commission, but also to the entire community of Barnstable, being one of the longest, if not the longest, tenures for public service in an appointed position. In commissioner-appointed position. In submitting this application for fair and just consideration, it is worth noting the very definition of service, which is appropriately defined as a public service award typically recognizes uncompensated distinguished public service to a community or the public through excellence in leadership or service. This definition aptly describes former Commissioner Marina Atzelis, as she is a well-respected member of this community who has rendered distinguished and dedicated service to the Barnstable community and general public through excellence in leadership and efforts Indeed, one of her many accolades is that she was involved from the beginning to help establish the initial foundations for the historic district in which we currently live and enjoy. Her tireless efforts strengthen our historical ties, where she helped to establish and implement our guidelines to protect and preserve, and to bind and expand our united efforts in preservation of our shared historical heritage. Noteworthy is that former Commissioner Marina Atzelis was instrumental far beyond her efforts on the HHDC. Be it known that the HHD and her longstanding honorable presence on that commission was only one of the many venues she utilized to help forge our valuable historic district itself. Her efforts reached out into all aspects of historic preservation, becoming involved in many areas and efforts that arose, maintaining records for historical preservation, fending off challenges in the community that might diminish our heritage and historical treasures, activating the community to protect and preserve. She served as a guardian to protect our historic resources, educating our fellow townspeople on the need to preserve the rich history that is our current benefit of legacy to the town of Barnstable and on Cape Cod. Such was her commitment to the preservation of the history, historical character, and historical assets that we are all still able to share in this community due to this very valued commissioner, and indeed all who serve and still serve this community. The commissioners of the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission, from the time he left till now, had an honor to share in some of the former Commissioner Atzelis' efforts to preserve, protect, and enrich our history while serving both on the service of the Commission and throughout the numerous non-commission efforts in historical protection and preservation throughout the town of Barnstable. Now respectfully submit this for your efforts. By unanimous decision of the members, there is a card. Your son was telling tall tales. The flowers are for you.
May I open this now? Thank you. Oh my gosh. Oh God. Aren't they beautiful? Thank you so much.
You are very welcome.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. You want to say anything, you may. If you don't, that's also okay.
I just want, I very totally enjoyed the years when I was on the Historic Commission. Lots going on, so much was done, so much accomplished, and it was just nice to be able to be here for a long while.
Indeed.
Thank you.
You served well. Thank you so
Didn't want to
much.
wear out my, my company, but I enjoyed being here, so I just kept plugging along, even though the boys said, "It's time to stop, Mom." Time to stop. So I eventually stopped, but I really enjoyed it.
Well, we
And-
obviously missed your presence because we invited you back.
I know it. Well, I did give it some thought, you know.
Okay.
Coming back and getting on the commission, but there you are, Nicholas is behind you, so it'll never happen. No. Thank you so much, everyone.
You are
Thank you
very
for being
welcome.
here.
Thank you.
And it's perfect timing because you were here for your meetings. But thank you again.
Also, I don't know if I acknowledged former Commissioner David Colombo. I think I did, but just in case I didn't, he has arrived as well. David Colombo, you served with him?
Mom, Dave.
Oh, I know Dave.
She doesn't recognize you outside of your restaurant. She needs a black cat in front of her.
Every time I go by his place, I toot the horn.
Yeah, we go way.
We go way back. Thank you. I'm sorry. I should
Oh,
have
and
spun around a little bit.
before I forget, former Commissioner Taryn Thoman asked me to read something.
All right.
She'd be very angry with me if I didn't. Tonight, Marina Atzelis is recognized for her decades of service to the Hyannis Historic District Commission. Although family matters out of state prevent me from being there this evening, I wanted to take this opportunity to extend to Ms. Atzelis a congratulatory message. For years, I've personally admired Marina for her kindness, wisdom, her dedication, attention to detail, and the quality of her contributions to the town of Barnstable. Our town will benefit from her many contributions for generations to come. Marina Atzelis has been a paragon of the virtues we hold dear in Barnstable, with an emphasis on the needs and wishes of the community. She has stood strong in the face of opposition by those who sought to intimidate, demoralize, and quash her experienced voice. Marina will not be remembered by those who served alongside her for caving under pressure. She remains steadfastly tenacious and true to the mission of this body with grace and dignity. She is a beacon for women everywhere who have worked so hard and for so long in a selfless effort to preserve the beauty and integrity of this special community. Marina, I wish you every happiness in your future endeavors. I know whatever you turn your hand to will enjoy enduring success. I asked for permission to extend her apologies. Her mother passed away. So, but she wanted me to give that to you, and I will give you that.
Thank you again.
Light reading? Mine's longer. Thank you very much. You're welcome to stay, but I think your son has something special for you. You're welcome all to stay.
I'm staying here. She's I mean, stay here.
Oh, Demetrius, you could have come in.
He's right there.
Okay. Thank you. Would you like to pose with your son with the flowers?
Okay. It's okay.
No, it's, pardon me?
It's
I
okay.
didn't. Okay, you sure?
It's fine, no.
It's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let you know it's wrapped in paper towels at the bottom that are damp.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna get these to Denise.
Demetrius will carry them. Thank you, everyone. I wish I had something written out, something long again, but I had to catch my breath seeing everyone here. We do
Thank you
go
for
back
joining
a long time.
And nice to meet you, Tracy.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Can I help you with this?
Oh, no, I'm good, dear. I'll read that. Oops, I don't need that. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Everyone.
It's the right thing to do. You're welcome. Have a good evening.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Do the right thing. So, we don't have any further correspondence. I did check my emails about 10 minutes, well, no, about 15 minutes before we started. Just check one more time, because I know I was expecting something else to come in. Nope. Okay.
And I thought this would be very interesting.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Keeping up historical. See, I meant what I said. Thank you, Marina. Okay. We have, before we go in, we have a number of things on tonight. I want to remind the commission of our purpose. Here we go. The purpose of this article is to promote the educational, cultural, economic, and general welfare of the inhabitants of the town of Barnstable and the town's unique character through the preservation and protection of the distinctive characteristics of building structures and places significant in the history and architecture of Barnstable, and through the preservation, maintenance, and improvement.
Try speaking in the microphone, because we just can't hear you.
Sure. Let me start again.
If I may, just real quick for everyone, the mics aren't meant for projecting into the room, it's to catch it for the video.
Yes, but I'll be happy to start again. The purpose of this article is to promote the educational, cultural, economic, and general welfare of the inhabitants of the town of Barnstable and the town's unique community character through the preservation and protection of the distinctive characteristics of the buildings, structures, and places significant in the history and architecture of Barnstable, and through the preservation, maintenance, and improvement of appropriate settings for such building structures and places, and the encouragement of new design which is compatible with the existing historical and community character, and through the benefits resulting to the economy of said town by preserving and enhancing the amenities and historical aspects of the various villages and areas which make Barnstable a desirable place to live and for tours to visit. That is our, under 11224, that is our purpose. So, and Tom, you're not going to let me forget what you brought in tonight for that one section later on.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so first up will be Shoestring Properties. We need to come up with another, well, actually, you could probably scoot those chairs up here. Let me help you bring that up.
Okay.
Stuart. I'll bring this up for you.
No, it's okay, we got one on wheels.
He's gonna come in here.
Well, I thought you were both going to come up. Okay, right, fair enough. If I could ask you to please sign in.
Take my coat off, you don't mind.
That's fine.
Whatever it is. I'm going to distribute, if I could, some colored pictures. Oh, you got some. Has everybody seen these?
Oh, can you pass me the colored ones down? I have them in black and white.
There you go.
Thank you. Please feel free to tell us what you would like to tell us.
I think when we left the meeting last time, you wanted to see a rendering of what we have, and you had a nice lady, I haven't met, did this rendering. And it's actually representative of what the project's going to look like, with the trees, the windows on the side, and this is it. The height is limited to 16 feet high. It's strictly marine storage. Majority boats, some lobster traps, fishing gear, ski-doos, kayaks, whatever marine is, this is what it's used for. Very limited. There's no utilities to this, no electricity, no water, no heat, just strictly storage for marine use. It's a year-round facility. And I'm open to any questions anybody may have. Pretty simple layout.
Are there any questions on the presentation?
The picture doesn't match the documents that we got for the, this still has the original specification sheets on it?
The pictures we gave you were early pictures, and it has progressed to what the final drawings are going to be like. The specs are the same. We have less than 10% land coverage. We don't have a lot of density on this, and it meets all the criteria. This is what you're going to see. This picture is representative of what you're going to have right here. This is it. Again, nothing's over 16 feet tall. That's the maximum height. That's at the peak. At the garage level, it'll probably be between about 14 feet.
And the siding's all aluminum?
Excuse me?
The siding is what, aluminum?
It will be aluminum, yes. It'll be a color match to match the criteria of the historical. I have samples of colors and sheets of colors. There's quite a few to pick from, and they come to about the same. It's basically a cream color frame with a very soft light blue door.
And the height doors are 16 feet. The height of the doors are 16. or the-
Doors,
the whole-
most of the doors are roughly 12 to 14 feet high. And just to keep in mind that most of the bridges aren't more than 14 feet, and a lot of the underpasses, especially on 6A, is down to 12 and change. So we're sort of keeping in form of what can be carried over the road. We're not looking to put anything excessive in there. It's strictly for the marine trade, private. That's all it is, a very small facility as far as this type of facility. Most of them are 100 to 200,000 feet. This is only 15,000 feet. It's really like I said, it's a niche product.
The facility, to me, is fine. Well, I'm having a problem of, when I drive that street and I look at this property, it's the most beautiful view of the harbor that we have, and we're going to put storage units overlooking the harbor.
We're not blocking any view of the harbor. There's no blocking. You can drive down the street, you can stand on the corner. We're not inhibiting the view whatsoever on that harbor. If you look down, it's wrapped around with trees on one side, and the other side is a crest in the hill. And it's, if you want, we're not inhibiting anybody's view of this harbor with these buildings.
It also sets a tone for the type of buildings that can go on that road, also, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I try to do something a lot different. I have the pictures of them. And this young lady and this lady made a big fuss 4 times. They're on TV. Absolutely went berserk on what we're building. And
Are you talking about this project?
No, I'm talking about the other project. You want to know why we're building this. This is, after 4 tries, this is what I'm doing. This is a permitted use, and I'm happy with it, and it's what we're going to do. We just can't, just to bring you up to snuff, we spent well over $200,000 over the 2 years to put this thing approval, and with 42 visits with the town people, everybody liked it. And previous to that, 25 years, we're trying to build something on this. 25 years. Over $900,000 cash. Couldn't get anywhere. And just to show you what
Mr.
we were talking
Bornstein,
about.
can
No,
can
no,
I
just
can I
a minute.
remind you that this is a different application?
Oh, I
We're
understand.
not
but
hearing
I
the previous
want to just make you
application.
cognizant of what we tried to do, a $70 million project on it. And it wasn't, it was too big, it was too this, and okay, it is what it is. And I'm not going to belabel it.
I want to remind
We
commissioners
decided
that
this is
previous-
what would work.
Well, I guess I'm saying, I didn't know about that other project, and it looks awful big, but, going down to storage units, isn't there something in between that we could have done something that's more in tune to the harbor and the view of the harbor?
It's marine use. This is zoned for marine use.
I got it.
And they changed the zoning for this to be for marine use. There's a big article in this for marine use for the harbor. And what is more useful to be on the harbor? People that use the harbor have no facilities for storage, for their boats, for their lobster traps, nothing. This is very much in tune with what is needed in town here. And this is what we're doing. This is the demand we had. We must have had, since we announced this thing, 20 people want to sit and commit to renting this for their boats. This is what the market needs. You've got 3,000 new housing going in the Hyannis area over the next 3 years, so you got enough housing. This is something that's needed for here.
I'm not saying it's not needed, I'm just saying it might not be needed in this particular location.
Well,
district. Can I point out, I did point out at the last meeting, I want to be very clear. This is a different application. This is not the application that we had before, so it should not have, the previous application, and anything said there should not have any bearing on this. This has to be treated totally, obviously, we were here for the last meeting, that's why it's continued, but this is an application that is treated separately. It is a new application, it's not the other one. Sorry, Commissioner Cronin.
Well, I understand that the drawing is revised from what we saw before, but the application has not been revised for these materials, specifications, heights, et cetera.
Materials are the same, absolutely the same. The size is the same. So I know you're trying to find some reason to put this down. If anybody would do it, you'd be the one. You've done it in every application.
Excuse me,
I've been-
can we
no, no,
please- can
it's
we
gotta
please
be
remain
said.
civil?
It's
We
gotta-
must
I'm trying to
remain
remain
civil.
civil.
Thank
This
you.
is for historical, for color, and this is what we're doing. We're meeting the requirements of historical committee. Whether you think it belongs here or not, that's a zoning opinion for the building department. This meets all the criteria of historical. We got the height, we got the density, we got the colors, we got the trees, we got everything that meets the requirements. This is all I'm showing you. We went out of our way to make this as user-friendly as housing would look like if we made apartments out of it. If we had different doors on it, it could be apartments, but it's, don't need any more apartments.
I just want
Commissioner Cronin.
one more question. At the time of the last application, we had said that there was going to be looking into the zoning for self-storage is not applicable here in this district.
Right, the applicant is before site plan still. Boat storage is an allowed use.
Is an allowed use.
On the site, so he is before the building commissioner to make those determinations. So the structures themselves, if they are boat storage as what's being proposed, is an allowed use. It's, again, up to the building commissioner to make that determination for what is being applied and making sure that it is, in fact, boat storage. So yes, before the Historic District Commission, again, I would just refer you back to the guidelines for new construction. We're looking at building form, building spacing, scale, proportion, massing, relation to the building street, and roof forms as your primary guidance. And then obviously those materials that shaped that beyond those major buckets there.
And that being said, it would have been helpful or to have those specifications resubmitted with the new drawings, because it is not the same as what, at least what I'm looking at and what we received this evening. That's
Can I ask you
my concern.
to elaborate on that, on your concerns, if you would, please?
If there is no, on this drawing, there's no specifications, whereas in the other ones, it says it's going to be metal with gray, blue and gray, metal, but there's nothing, no specifications on doors or anything like that.
Doors was one of the things we brought up last time.
And the roof pitch is different. There was some question on the turn circumference out in the parking lot and such, so it's just that it would have been, this looks a lot better than the previous version that we looked at, but again, I'm just going by what I have in front of me, with all due respect.
All the churning ratios have been churned into the town, to the fire department, and they meet all the criteria. The size has not changed, the materials have not changed. We lightened out the colors. Instead of pure white, we went to a cream color. We can go back to a white. We got the samples in the bag here. So nothing has really drastically changed on what we showed. It was what has coming from the meeting. We've adapted. You wanted a print of what it's going to look like. This is it. This is what the specs are, and the sizes, everything. That's up to the building department. Okay, this is what you're looking for. This is what it looks like.
Any other commissioners with questions? On the presentation, before we go into public comment and deliberation, and I have a few comments. Any other, usually like to go last. Nope. I'll go back to that beforehand. Before I make comments, I wanted to ask staff, Jim, if you would elaborate, because we asked our applicant to liaise with you to clarify some of the points that were not clarified, and we were not really satisfied that it was going to be as per the market, because that's kind of how long is a piece of string.
Yep. Yeah, so I did speak with the applicant about getting a rendering that worked better for the requests that were discussed at the last meeting. If you look in your the original application, you have a site plan that demonstrates the size of the layout of the structures. I did ask for an elevation, and I believe that's why Mr. Bornstein started this conversation with no more than 16 feet height, because I think that was a question that was brought up by this commission at the last meeting.
It was.
Well, though it's not reflected on the rendering. I think if any decision is rendered, you could certainly phrase it as such that 16 feet would be a maximum. Beyond that, so you have your site plan that gives you the dimensions of the structures. You now have your height elevation. The other item was the roof pitch and what that would look like, because the original at the last meeting we had multiple images. So here you see the gable roof line that is being proposed there. And then there was also things about character that was discussed, and so Mr. Bornstein mentioned that he would do something on the exterior, and that's what you see there this evening. So through reflecting through the comments that were provided, Mr. Bornstein provided this as a reference for the rendering, together with your application that shows the site plan and the materials. Did have a couple questions just for confirmation in terms of materials, but I can hold those till a later time.
All right. Any commissioner questions on what Mr. Kupfer has submitted, provided for us? You also said, and you've said it again tonight, that the doors are going to be roughly, last time you said 12, 14, maybe 16 feet high. Tonight it's 12 to 14 feet high. Do we know what that's going to be?
I would say the doors aren't going to be any higher than 14 feet.
Okay. If the commissioners are okay, I'm going to go to public comment and open up for public comment. Is there anyone here for public comment? And by the way, I take it the rest of the people that are here tonight are here for the other applications. Thank you for bearing with us through not only a presentation earlier, but through some of the other things. Thank you. Town Councilor Lucky.
I'll make a public comment. What I appreciate about this project is what Mr. Bornstein has said, that it really serves the harbor. And I know at the Town Council, we had a presentation from the Commercial Fishermen's Alliance, and I thought that was a very compelling presentation about, working harbors. So that's a really, that's a nice aspect of this, is the working harbor aspect of that. But where I do have a problem is somewhat within what Commissioner Doherty was talking about. Also at the Town Council, we passed the new zoning in the downtown. And one of the areas that was carved out because of its historical significance was School Street. And this is a continuation of School Street. And that's a beautiful residential street with the exception of where the Steamship Authority destroyed that one historical house and put that giant driveway. And I really appreciate your efforts, Mr. Bornstein, because you've done so much in the town. And this is all on paper, and what I was wondering, and I know you're probably moving forward with it, would there be an opportunity for compromise? Could you perhaps see your way to do this long building on the one side, and then perhaps, and I'm just going to suggest this, you said we have enough housing, and maybe we do, although when I hear the Chamber of Commerce head talk about the J1 problem, it brings to mind another application that came before this board, which was the Nantucket Hotel. They bought the second oldest house in Hyannis on Pleasant Street to renovate it for their employees and to provide parking. And I think there's a great need for this type of housing. I mean, it's sad that we've come to this. It's almost like the old mill towns that New England was known for, where you had company housing. And my thought was, could you see a way, because there's such a need, to do kind of a J1 housing. That's something that doesn't exist. That kind of thing for, visiting nurses, it just gets it's a livelihood to it. And, we mentioned, you will have access to the harbor, but it would bring more vitality to this. And I just think about what Chairman Powell read at the beginning here about the intent of this board. Would that be something that you could think about?
Not on this property. We're in the presently of converting an office building into 30 apartments, which will be affordable. And we house a number of our employees at well below market rate in our complex, which we subsidize. And we have a number of these all over town. We take care of the people that work for us, and most of our rents are 10 to 20% less than anybody else.
Yeah.
We don't sit and get the maximum rents for them. We get below market rates by a lot. So we really, in order to make this work, you need some volume. We only have 15. If you count how many units, we don't have a lot of quantity here. And it doesn't work to cut this up into housing when you're doing one type of operation on there. And this is, it just wouldn't work. It's
Yeah, it's too
marginal.
bad. I don't know the economics as
Yeah,
well as you do.
economically,
If you could
this-
have partially boat storage and then,
It just doesn't work the number-wise. It just can't support itself if it doesn't. It's the same problem I had with this problem. We gave the town $3 million worth of freebies. We had a $20 million infrastructure, and they all wanted it to look great. We had 42 meetings on it. And if you want something that looks nice, somebody's got to pick up the car fare for it. It didn't work. We tried. So we made something simple the town needs, the harbor needs, and we think it'll be pretty successful. Like I said, we own a lot of apartments, and we're building right now 30 under construction with affordables. And we have another one right behind that for another 40 units. So,
and you said no electrical in it. Would that be an issue for security in the evenings and, people coming in and they're out in their units in the winter, or?
not really worried to take a boat. You need a trailer. You need a whole. It's not the type of thing that gets stolen. It's under lock and key. Whether it's security or not really isn't going to change anything.
Okay, well, I mean, you've definitely improved it. It's a little bit unfortunate that, the vitality, even the restaurant that was there brought that vitality to it. So that's just sad. And I know in the last meeting, you said you were tired, and I can understand that, and that this was maybe temporary, and you let your kids worry about it. So, that's just a comment. Thank you.
Yes, if you could please
Yes, ma'am.
identify yourself.
Paul Neary.
Oh.
Just a public comment. Regarding School Street, I can say with some certainty that there has been no investment on School Street whatsoever. I can tell you that 80% of the properties on that street are in some major form of disrepair. You just drive down it. So I understand the historic nature of things, but if there's no give and take, then you'll never see investment on that street. Just drive down it. I go on that street quite often. The only investment that's been done on that street is by a friend of mine who redid Dr. Tratt's building and did a fantastic job on it. And that's for workforce housing. So with that said, it's just something to keep in mind. So, School Street is not the penultimate destination, including all of the problems that come with it, with needles and all that kind of stuff that are strewn about the place. So it's just a comment that I think that should be addressed.
And I also owe you an apology because it was out of context. We also welcome our guest, Town Councilor Paul Neary. It was, I usually see you in the Town Council room.
I add something to it, if I may. Yeah, one other thing to be cognizant of. This is the epicenter of the homeless. We go there most mornings and move people out of there. We have somebody go around with a bag and pick up needles, not so much lately. We taken out a couple of bodies out of the site. And one of the reasons to knock down the restaurant is what we were going through when it was closed. You could not believe, they got screw guns to take the doors off underneath. It was just, had to do it. But this is not a great area. We're hoping what we'll put here will give some stabilization of what we're doing. That's another part of it. And I own a lot of property in Hyannis. I love Hyannis. I'm just trying to make it a better place. I tried to do one thing, it didn't work. So we did what we thought would be a simple thing, could get it up really fast. And God knows, we've had 20, 25 calls, just word of mouth of people want space in here for their boats and their equipment. There's no place to go. I mean, in Hyannis, there really is no land left. And this is around the harbor, it's easy to get to. And, we think it'll look nice.
You get
It'll look
away.
a lot better than what the
Tom, you
restaurant
get
was
away.
there before.
You know, we're working with the planning department, the commission, and we got architects, you know, from Boston that we're working for, you know, to new guidelines for the historic district. And, you know, School Street does need work, you're right. But do we just throw up our hands and say, well, School Street's never gonna get any better, so let's just put in, you know, storage units? I don't think that. I'm trying to make this place better. And that's what this commission is doing with the planning department. And this, you know, if this just doesn't fit into that street. Now, you know, I understand you had another proposal, but to me, it's just like we're throwing our hands up and, well, we can't get anything else, we're just gonna throw in storage units.
You got the steamship authority next door that has trucks sitting out on the road at 6 o'clock in the morning trying to get in here. I mean, if anything, I'm improving the neighborhood, what's there now. I mean, it's if you go up there early in the morning, 7, 8, the trucks just keep rattling on all day, all night. I mean, it's, I'm not saying this is the grand finale, but it takes care of empty land. It will generate some taxes for the town, and it's serving a need. It's going to look clean and neat. It isn't going to be as nice as this. This was $70+ million, but we're doing what we could. We tried, believe me. We spent a lot of money, and we're not trying to do this in spite. We thought this would be a use for the land that would work, and without a lot of opposition. We haven't had any from anybody in town at all, and we showed this to a lot of people, so it's accepted. And there's a lot worse in the downtown, on the main street, on the side streets. This is neat, it's kept up, it's new, it's fresh, it'll look nice. The landscaping will be kept up. I mean, it serves a need that you need. Is it the ideal situation? Probably not, but thinking what you could do and make it happen, this works. Every time we try to do something, everybody wanted us to spend millions of dollars to give to the town, and we're willing to do it, but something's got to pay for it. This doesn't have any impact on the town. It only takes care of a lot of congestion all over the place. Boats in yards, lobster tracks stacked up on the side of houses. I mean, it serves a need. It'll clean the town up too a little bit.
Any other commissioners before I make a few comments? I will go back to the commissioners, but any reaction on that? Nope. So thank you for coming back to us on the continued. Just to clarify, yet again, this does not have to do with the previous projects. This is a different application and should not be linked with the previous. How many units? That was something else we wanted clarified, please.
Well, I'm sorry to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14. 14. Probably someplace in the area of around 35 to 40.
So we'd hope that you would clarify what it was going to be on the number of units. Again, last time you had said it was, I believe that was where one of the things you said it would be as per the market. The thing is, you say that this is my feeling on it.
I can't, can you speak? I'm sorry.
I can't hear you either. Sorry.
Can people at the far end hear me?
Not really.
Okay, well, that's fine. Yeah, okay, right.
What they ought to do is extend these microphones another 5 inches.
So-
it can actually reach the people in the room. Let's-
I'll start over. So we cannot keep referring to the previous projects because this is not the same project. This is a different project. Same land, I get it. Last time, we had also asked for clarification on the number of units, and then it was 35 to 40, and it's somewhere thereabouts. But it's like what Commissioner Cronin said, it's not totally as per what it was submitted.
The building sizes aren't going to move, whether it is 8 doors or 7 doors doesn't change anything. The reason we're a little evasive about it, not everybody needs a 14-foot wide bay. There are people with ski-doos and kayaks that can't afford it. So we may build a few smaller ones to accommodate those. We don't know quite what our market is yet for that market, but we want to sit and build them for what people need. They're not going to want to pay for 400 feet when 200 feet will do it. So we have some, whatever, but whatever we do, the buildings do not change, the frames don't change, the windows don't change, nothing changes. Whether we put another door in or not should have no bearing on the historical commission whatsoever. That even shouldn't even be on the table, would you?
It lets us know what it's going to look like, which comes to my next point, which would be that you say it meets all the requirements, but the thing is, we have the requirements which I read out earlier. And in our purpose, I was just counting it, out of the 9 lines that we have there are 5 comments as to the character of the town, the historical character. And that is our job for preservation and protection of the distinctive characteristics of the various structures and everything. I'm not going to read the whole thing again, but the historical aspects. That is our purview. That is what we are tasked to do. Just to touch, have enough housing. I think most people are aware that we do have a housing problem on Cape Cod. And having a person who has being a person who has a skipper's license, I can tell you when you say nobody's going to steal a trailer, last time I bought one, it was close to $2,000. So I know that you said that they're going to, you had the homeless there and the needles, but you're going to have these, and it's going to be dark, and it's going to be along the water. I don't think it's going to stop the homeless from going down to that area. We can't prove that, of course, but I don't see why one dark area exchanged for another dark area is going to change that. I'm sorry that you say that you've taken a couple bodies out. I wasn't aware of that. But the...
Personally, the police did.
Okay, so, and you said that you could put nets and such out there to make it look more nautical. Nets, that's what you said last time.
We could decorate it if it's the flavor of the historical. We could do lobster buoys. We could do some nets on the corners. We could make this look like Moby Dick lived there. I mean, we could do whatever. We're happy to do it.
But unfortunately,
And it isn't going to be dark. We're going to pay the electric company to put extra lights on to illuminate this at night, so it'll be pretty well lit.
so it is going to be lit. It's not going to be
It'll
dark.
lit from town, I shouldn't say town, from Eversources. I think that's who supplies the lights. I'm not sure anymore. There's 3 or 4 light poles, and on those poles, there are some lights. We'll pay Eversource to put more lights on that will illuminate this whole thing so it'll not be dark. From dawn to dusk, it'll be well lit.
I do totally agree that it'd be wonderful to have it developed, but, you know, and I'm only one vote, but it's, I have problems that they can store anything in there that's nautical. Nautical has a lot of chemicals.
We have a very tight hazardous waste contract. We use it in a lot of our facilities. We don't allow any drums. We get to inspect everything that goes in there. We can go in anytime we want. And as they load them up, we're there to see what goes on. The last thing I need is a $200 rental causing me a $20,000 spill or a hazardous problem. Believe me, we run, for the last 15 years, 100,000 feet of storage facilities, and we have absolutely no problem whatsoever. We're pretty careful what goes in there today. And most people are pretty cognizant of chemicals. I'm not talking about boat cleaning things that you would keep on your boat. There's always a little of that. But we're more conscious about it than most people, because a number of years ago, somebody dropped a 20-gallon bucket off of something on a piece of land, not knowing what it is. I think it cost us $8,000 just to get rid of it, and why it was in the bucket, so.
I believe, Jim, you had something to say?
Yeah, I was just going to weigh in on the materials inside. So in site plan review, whenever a proposal is coming forward, we do have our engineering department review all uses and confirm proper drainage and all that. So the drainage and handling of materials and anything on the interior certainly would be vetted and confirmed during site plan review.
Commissioners, anything else? Questions,
I agree with you,
clarifications?
Cheryl. It's just not enhancing the historical value, historical feeling of the town. And I guess I get frustrated because we're spending so much time working to develop new rules and regulations. And I'm looking at this, Jim, and if we're working on a lot of rules now. This wouldn't probably be approved in another, few weeks. I just think it's just a horrible waste of a beautiful piece of land. That's all.
What makes it so beautiful?
Overlooking the harbor.
That it's a beautiful
Well,
spot.
let me ask you a question. We tried very hard to put things on there.
I know
We're
you
not
tried.
talking
I know
about
that.
any
Okay,
previous
This
project.
is what's in front.
There's
I'm not
gotta be-
saying it's,
is
I'm
there-
not saying it's Taj Mahal. The other thing we can do is just fence it off and leave it alone for the next 10 years, and that's it. At least we're lighting the place and decorating a place, have trees in there. Go walk down there now, what it looks like. Go look at people lugging their luggage down the middle of the street at night, coming up from the boat with baby carriages and luggage on wheels. It's almost comical. Here it is, a main entrance to the harbor, and this is what the town has left it there for 20 years. So, I'm just telling you, I'm as frustrated with it as you are.
I get you, so now they're
Believe me, I
these
am
people
very
are gonna
frustrated.
lug their luggage past.
This is an
storage
improvement.
units.
This is a lot better than what's there. A big improvement.
Okay, any other commissioners?
Is there a possibility that you could accomplish this with a different form of architecture?
Oh,
Unfortunately,
you do, right.
the nature of this beast is, it's a storage facility for boats. They're basically very functional, the utilization, it's what they are. You're charging people $14, $15 a foot for storage, and out of that, we pay $3 or $4 in taxes and insurance and cleanup. So, it's not it's not a lot you could do to enhance it. It's a basic building. It looks attractive. It's functional. It meets all the criteria. You got plenty of trees around it. We put windows on the outside, so when you drive by it, it takes out the utility. It's got a gable roof on it. And like I said, it is what it is. It's a storage facility. And I wish you could do something better, but it's got to be a fire-rated facility too. So you've got to be, we're limited to what we can do with it.
I was just referring to a lot of the marinas have quite a bit of storage buildings on them. And they're
Different than this.
they're a different style building, that's
Well,
why.
they're taller, they're bigger, they got huge doors. Look at Hyannis, go down to the Hyannis Marina. Big metal buildings, 30, 40 feet tall. They're all over the place. Every marina has the same thing. These are better-looking buildings than what the marina has, I will promise you that. It's easy to go take a look at them. We made these as attractive as we possibly can for what they are. And again, for what they are, we have our limits of what we could do. If I could find, we went into the flat roof, and it didn't look right, so how can we make it better? We spoke to a few architects, the rendering people, we put a gable on it, we dressed it up with some windows. We did as much as we could for what it is. If we could do something more, I have no problem of outside of putting some anchors out there, if you like.
Some what?
Some lobster.
I-
Red Lobster, if you like. We can do anything you want
I couldn't-
there.
I couldn't
I'm
hear what
not
you
trying
said.
to-
You'll put what out there?
I'm happy to do it. But it's just what it is. It's for the boat business.
I don't think
Sure.
anchors and nets are gonna.
me?
I don't think anchors and that's.
Well, probably not, but we
Okay.
weren't being facetious. We were just trying to do whatever. If you guys come up with any ideas to dress it up while we're under construction, if we get that far with you guys, we're happy to do it.
But it could
Really,
also look cluttered. Okay, Jim, I think you have
Yeah, I
some
just
comment.
wanted, real quick, before any decision is rendered, I just was hoping if we could just quickly go through materials and just make a confirmation. So I did hear exterior walls, those were aluminum metal. You're proposing cream/brown that would meet the historic color chart. Roof, it appears metal as well, same brownish cream, historic. Doors, metal, light blue, historic, matching historic color.
Correct.
Windows, white.
We would do white windows, probably with a black shutter.
Black shutter.
I would think if white looks better, we'll do white. It's up to the,
And vinyl for each out. Vinyl for each.
we would do vinyl.
Yes.
Out here, wood doesn't last too much longer.
Okay, 16 feet maximum height.
That's at the very tip.
Yep.
At the door height, you're no more than 14 feet.
14-foot maximum
That's
height
just to
door.
get the water off the roof, so to speak.
And 24 to 30 doors, I'm counting if you're matching each of these. So 24 to 30 doors, you
He said
mentioned.
35 to 40.
Again, I'm sort of want to accommodate the market, and if you got somebody that can't afford a large unit, I got to put another door on.
So perhaps the commission may wish to state a maximum if they render a
You
decision
want
on
to
that.
maximize the doors, say at 40, an outside number. I may never get there, but it's just to accommodate the customer.
And then,
We don't make any more money, no matter how, it costs us more, we gotta buy more doors. So it's just to accommodate. If somebody comes in with a ski-doo, his wife won't let him keep it at the house, or a kayak, he doesn't need a big 14-foot wide, he can go away with 8, so we can accommodate him.
and then lastly, just no utilities on site, and I do mention there's no signage present, so any signage would have to have a subsequent application.
That's fine.
I'd forgotten about that one.
Thank you.
Anything else on that? No. I do have a question for you, Jim. Aluminum. I believe in our guidelines, it's discouraged.
Correct. It's not a preferable material.
Correct.
That's right. And
I didn't hear that, I'm sorry.
that aluminum is a discouraged material in historic?
Well, you've got to build this according to the fire department in metal. It's a fireproof building. And you got to make them a certain size not to trigger sprinklers since we have no water there. But this metal, by the way, is a pleated metal. It's an expensive metal. It's not just flat. It has a design in it. It almost looks like clapboard to a point. It's not just a flat thing. They make them they make them really gorgeous looking too. So it's not your grandfather's metal building anymore. It's more fancier.
How strong is it for hurricanes, storms coming in?
It has a rating. It has a hurricane rating, which we try to keep them at about 160, 180 top speed. I think the code is a lot less than that, but I tend to build them a little heavier.
Okay, commissioners, are we ready? Oh, I'm sorry, Town Councilor Lucky.
I just wanted to ask one thing, because Jim didn't mention it. The paving, Mr. Bornstein, is it pervious, impervious? Is it asphalt? Is it shell, stone?
We will,
If it's hard paving, I don't know if
We
you
would
need stormwater
probably-
management for
we
that.
would, we're open. In other words, if shells were opted for, this is very hard compacting, and we've done shells on gravel. All we can just do asphalt with a shell trim around the edges on it. But it's dictated to me, the town specifies to the building department. I don't have a lot to say with it. I happen to I do a lot of shells where I can, and do a lot of paving stone in the entrances. And if we can satisfy the building requirements by doing that, and there's a lot of preparation. You just don't throw it in the ground. You got to build 6 inches of gravel, find sand for ventilation or drainage. I've done a fair amount of it, and we don't have a problem doing it if that's the desire.
Yeah. No, I'm not advocating one way or the other, but if it is a hard surface, that's a lot of impervious material. I'm just wondering if you get into requiring a stormwater management plan, I guess that would come up in site review. It's a
Yeah,
lot.
that'll
It's a
Exactly
lot.
right. Exactly right.
Would add
All paved. This was all paved anyway. This is all, we're not anything. This one is not paved, and I'm implied, if I can, I would leave it, it's very hard packed, and dress it up with shells.
Commissioner Cronin, I believe you brought up the pavement last time and the drainage.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, and thank you for that. That's a good point.
Chair Powell, may I just-
Yeah, yes,
Chairman,
please.
since my fellow counselors spoke, I figured I might say a few words.
We welcome your
I'll be-
comments.
I tend to sit back and listen as a liaison, but every once in a while I'll chime in. My thoughts, as I've been listening to these last two meetings, we hear a lot about with projects in town, folks will comment about what something could be or should be or how nice it would be. But the fact of the matter is, this is private land that is zoned for a specific type of use. And although it would be nice to have housing there or other things that folks deem more appropriate, at the end of the day, it's, to a certain degree, it's up to the property owner to determine what they want to do there. And if it fits in within the guidelines of historic or any other committee or commission or board, then that needs to be thought about, because otherwise we need to think about the alternative, and the alternative is another piece of vacant land that just continues to get more and more blighted. So that's just something to think about. Thank you.
Very much. Okay, so I'm not missing anybody, am I? All right. I'm sorry. Matt, did you have? I thought you were waving. Okay. So I think we're ready for, let's make a motion to close public comment, if that's okay. And would somebody like to make that motion?
I'm also move that we close public comment.
And is there a second, please?
Second.
And you are voting tonight if you're happy to do so, because we are not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, you can vote tonight. So, Commissioner Colley.
What are we voting on?
To close public comment.
Okay.
No, in favor, yes.
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 Commissioner Curran. Matt, how do you, Matt Clark, Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty?
Aye.
Commissioner Kay? I also say aye. Public comment is closed. All right, so we have on the certificate of appropriateness both a certificate for disapproval and a certificate for approval. Both will start the same way, findings and then the decision. Would one of the commissioners like to make a motion with regard to one of those? Commissioner Cronin?
Could I just ask a question?
Sure.
Is there deliberation, or was that the deliberation?
That was the deliberate. Did you have anything more you wanted to deliberate? We have not closed the deliberation.
Okay, I thought public comment closed. I thought we would still deliberate on the
Oh, we can.
project itself.
Absolutely. Please go ahead.
At what point do we bring in other issues that we had just heard and updated from, like what Jim had said is going to be the materials that he is outlining? And I'll go back to this. If the specifications for this new rendering was with the paperwork tonight, I think we would have more information to make a decision. But the aluminum is not a desired property, a material rather, for the historic district. And mobile storage, it's just very vague as to how many units it may or may not be, and that is kind of within our purview as to what we're approving. If the market tells him he needs 50, small units like that, then what are your, it's not really mobile storage, it's more of a personal storage, because anything can be in there. It's not manned. So I think that that's kind of be where my concerns would be. And if there's any, dimensions, the number of units, it's just, everything is just so vague. We'll do what you want, or we'll do what the site plan review requests, but I think that the historic is what we're trying to fit into here. And-
Our purview is with regard to
Exactly.
historic, not
Okay.
to other boards, what their
Correct.
purview is. When you started that, are you suggesting when you say you wanted them to match that they be continued, or are you just making a comment?
It would be suggested that the applicant come back with the materials that match the rendering, so we can actually see what it would be, the coloring and the materials, and what the pavement will be, what some of those things that he's got in the renderings that are not in the paperwork that we were given this evening. It would help, because that means we're going to be voting on something that, to me, looks very vague, and it's still got a lot of unanswered
Find
questions.
something else if you couldn't find that. You've been against me every time you've been here.
Excuse
Is
me.
it personal or just? don't
Mr.
work?
Bornstein, this is a civil meeting.
Good point. You know, we're voting on something that's very unclear.
We must be civil, please. Thank you, Commissioner Cronin. I understand what you're saying. Is there a reaction from the other commissioners?
Well, just a clarification, if we have a process where there are a number of entities involved in green lighting this, to what extent does our decision-making depend on what they're approving and not approving? So in other words, are we creating a chaotic situation by requiring specifications that may or may not be approved, because that's not within our purview, it's within the purview of other entities?
We have to look at just what our purview is. We don't look at what their purview is. And we go by that's why I read out our purpose tonight. And I had Mr. Kupfer confirm the aluminum, just to verify, because that tends to go a little bit different. And we know that in the new guidelines that we're talking about it not being allowed at all. Commissioner Doherty, I believe you mentioned that. Any other comments before I see if somebody wants to make a motion, or are you making a motion to continue? But you'd have to ask the applicant if he would like to.
Do I make a motion to continue?
Well, we have to ask the applicant if he's willing to, if he wants to continue. Is that what you're suggesting?
That's what I'm suggesting.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear.
I'm sorry, I didn't know if that came from you or if it was just as a comment. It's very confusing, sorry.
No, no problem at all. We're just trying to do the right thing here. Mr. Bornstein, would you like to try to come back on a continuation with that? Or?
Nothing's going to change.
Okay.
What's up to the paving is up to the building department.
Okay,
Okay, that's their choice, not yours.
okay.
And if you want to limit the doors to no more than 40, I'm happy with that. You
Said
want to make them
35 to
less?
40.
Huh?
You said 35 to 40. Are
Well,
you
pick a
making it the
number.
top
You
one?
pick it and I'll go with it, okay? I'm easy to go along with. And the material is the material. You got the choice of colors, and we'll come here for you to check the color out, make sure it approves with you in another meeting, or bring your samples anytime you like, and you can sign off on the colors. Again, we got to go through some other boards. You're just the first stop or the second stop, and this is what it's going to look like.
Okay.
And you know what the materials are. They aren't going to change. The color, you very happy to come back, and I got colors right here now. You can pick them out right here if you like. No problem. Take your choice. And let's just get a vote on it. I mean, we've been around here, I think my second time already, and you wanted a rendering. I went out and got a rendering of exactly what it's going to look like.
Thank you.
And here it is. And we put a limit on the height of the building, put a limit on how many doors, and what the pavement's going to be is probably up to the building department. They're the ones that are going to have a lot to say about it, and I imagine the fire department's going to want to throw it in the water.
I believe Town Councilor Atzlis has something to say.
Is that a no?
Do what we got to do.
Thank you for clarifying that. That's a no, you don't want to continue.
That's
Thank you.
correct.
And thank you very much. I should have done that myself. I was just trying to be, anyway, absolutely, and you're right. So, in that case, if he wants a vote, and it's no, I believe, for the continuation, does one of the commissioners want, we have closed public comment, one of the commissioners want to make a motion on the findings for either approval or disapproval?
I make a motion on the findings.
approval or disapproval?
For approval?
For approval? Okay, so it would be, so I move that the commission find this application to be compatible. Do you have the?
I do not.
No, we have guidance.
Oops, sorry.
No problem. I should have made sure you had this. So I move that the commission find.
Sure. I move that the commission find this application to be compatible with preservation and protection of the district.
Is there a second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay. In that case, we go for a vote. Commissioner Cronin?
No.
Commissioner Doherty?
No.
Okay.
No.
Commissioner Cowley?
Yes.
And I say no. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Clark. That's what happens when you wear dark colors. I do apologize for, sorry about that.
Very bright in here, Cheryl.
I do apologize.
No.
Okay, sorry about that. So I don't think we go on for the certificate of appropriateness, do we? So, anyway. Thank you very much for coming back a second time to us.
I didn't hear what it was.
It was a no.
Everybody voted no except for one yes and all no's. Big surprise.
Coming back, and thank you for joining your dad.
Thank you so much.
So you all voted no for this project, huh? Am I correct?
Project.
Excuse me?
That's a previous project, and almost this entire commission is different now. Oh, sure. May I keep this one, please?
No,
Because
take it, you don't need it.
Okay, that's fine.
Hey, I want to give you these, just so it is. The town messed up on. Well, they shouldn't say messed up on. We just put an 8-foot fence all around it for the next 20 years.
Have a wonderful evening. Oh, yeah.
You made the comment earlier of how frustrated you are. You should try doing business in this town for 30 years. Then you can tell me what frustration is. And I mean that with respect. Thank you and good night.
Thank you. You have a good evening. Okay, next one. Tim Gaudette, DBA Cuckoos, 372 and 366 Main Street, Hyannis, map 327, parcel 002, with regard to a sign. This is continued from May 17th. And again, thank you for bearing with us tonight.
Which one is this? Tim Gaudette. No one's there.
Please tell us about your project.
Just
grounded,
replacing downtown bistro sign,
They were grounding.
and nothing's changed. Color's pretty much the same, changed the lettering, and that's it. Everything else has stayed the same.
Pass me
You
that.
have to speak in the,
Could you pass me the thing for that? Because I seem to, rather than going searching for it. Yeah, we got them right here.
oh,
I've got a whole stack here. I don't want to take up time. Searching for it. Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, I remember this. Okay. So, that's the presentation.
Yeah, nothing's changed. Some lettering in the front.
Commissioners, questions on the presentation?
I only have one.
I know what that's going to be.
I've never seen a sign made out of foam before.
Oh,
I think it's AZAC.
It-
AZAC, yeah.
So you're calling AZEC foam?
Well, I think it's a
PVC product?
PVC, yeah.
okay.
Okay, it was very misleading in this thing. I thought, foam? And I didn't know how long foam was going to last.
Because they do, it's amazing what they can do with foam.
It expands in the rain.
Yeah, okay. I Starting to get better.
It starts out this big and you
Yeah,
add
right.
water to it.
Okay, can you give me the thickness of this AZEK you're going to use? Is it a 3/4 inch?
Yeah, it's about, it's 3/4, and then the outside band is about 1.25 inches. The black trim on the outside.
All right, good, thank you.
I think he's done pretty well on the specs here from when I was reading it before. Okay. Any other questions from commissioners?
What kind of lighting is going to be on the sign?
Same lighting that was up there before, LED that shines down from above.
These are all approved colors?
These are approved colors, and to the lighting and the brackets and everything, these were all existing, so the only change is the sign itself.
Yep, the lettering, yep.
Okay. I'm going to open it up to public comment. Is anyone here? I'll leave it open for public comment. Deliberation, commissioners, what do you think about it? Except for the phone.
You need to close public comment?
Before we go for a motion.
We close public comments.
Second?
Commissioner Carley?
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin?
Aye.
Commissioner Clark? I didn't miss you this time. Commissioner Doherty?
Aye.
I also say aye.
Aye.
It's kind of complex. I feel bad about it now. Okay, so deliberation?
I don't have any problem with it at all.
I don't either.
No problem.
All right. It's a nice sign.
Good.
You're not done yet.
Oh, geez.
You're not done yet. They always want to run away before we do the vote. Okay, so would one of the commissioners like to make a motion on the findings, please?
I move that the commission find the application to be compatible with the preservation and protection of the district for 372 Main Street.
Matt?
Okay,
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty? Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin? Commissioner Cowley?
Aye.
I also say aye. Would one of the commissioners like to make a motion on the certificate of appropriateness, please?
I'll make that motion. That I move to issue a certificate of appropriateness for the applicant at, I already lost,
372.
372 Main Street, as described in the submitted materials.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Cowley?
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin? Aye. Commissioner Clark? Aye. Commissioner Doherty?
Aye.
Commissioner Carey?
Aye.
I also say aye. Now you're done. Well done. You got it.
Thank you so much.
I've heard good things about that restaurant. I really have. Yeah. Nice menu.
Fort? I'm talking to the right person, she wasn't.
And your mother looked beautiful.
Thank you. You too. All right, so,
Cheryl, I have to excuse myself for another engagement. Thank you for having us. Thank you.
and thank
Thank
you
you,
for
Counselor.
your mom.
Yeah, I will catch you later. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, so next one, Camilla Vellante, DBA, Gonakai. Gonakai or Gonakai? Could you, Gonakai?
Yeah, a lot of people say acai. Açaí.
Just didn't know the pronunciation. I call it Kai too. 561 Main Street, Hyannis, map 308, parcel 111-00A. This is with regard to a paint color change, also continued from the May 17th, 2023. Commissioners, can you pass me that one down? I should have kept all those separate, but I have,
Yeah,
oh, I'm sorry.
I'm one of the
Oh, and have you
owners of the
signed?
Gonia Açaí.
If you could sign in, please. Passing me the one for that, please. Yes, or the one that goes to this. So I don't have to go through all these. I did, but I mixed them all up in going through the first application thing. I don't want to take time away from to find it. Okay, all right. So, go ahead.
My name is Camila. I'm one of the owners of the Gonia Açaí Hyannis. You just applied for change the color of the building.
Okay.
It's a light green. I think the name of the color is Coral Spring.
Do you want to point to which one it is on? Oh, I see which one. It's this one here?
Yeah, it's that one.
That one? Light green.
Coral Springs.
Forest Spring?
The arrow.
Historic underneath it.
Is that, yeah, the whole building's gonna be that
Yeah.
color? What about the trim?
The part about, around the windows.
Around the
Yeah, I think
window?
it's gonna suit the same, like the picture. We like to change just the,
With the white trim?
yeah,
So you'll be white trim.
yes.
Are you talking the entire front, first and second floor, or just the first floor?
If it's possible to paint everything,
Well, it's what you're asking for is what we need to respond to. I didn't know if you were going to do the whole building.
the whole building,
Okay, that's it. That's.
Okay.
Will the signs stay the same?
the same.
So the trim, so the windows will all be white, the doors will be white. And it looks like there's a wood right below the sign, that will be white also, breaking up the green.
No, if I can put everything green and just the door and the windows white,
Just the doors, all the windows are gonna be white.
yeah, green is gonna be white.
And that's the trim all the way around the window.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not sure about that.
I just think it would break it up. I think all that green would be,
Yeah, I think it's gonna be better if everything green, right?
I think
No?
what he's saying. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tom. The window's here, but the door's here, so the trim's around here. Are those going to be white like they are now, or are they going to be green as well? So you have the white here,
Yeah,
and then you have the white trim. So what he's asking, see, that's
if the
trim?
trim can stay the same, yeah.
Okay. And were you also asking Tom about this trim here, the horizontal?
right.
Yeah. And is that going to stay white? That's,
You think I have a business partner, you think this is gonna be green?
it's going to be green?
Yeah,
Whatever.
Could I just ask a question? Even the color is within the palette, but from a historic standpoint, is there a difference or an amount of coverage that we can kind of look at to see whether or not it then breaks over it's no longer looking historic? Because, if it was maybe if the trim were that or the shutters, but having that entire face of the building, top and bottom, that color green, I don't know that really enhances the historic value of Main Street.
It is a bold historic green.
But usually,
Yeah.
when you look at a color palette like that, you're looking at either signage or, materials maybe for outside structure, or maybe even just the trim or shutters, but having the entire building like that on Main Street, I don't know if it's enhancing the historic value.
What are the colors of the shutters? Are they're gonna be green also?
Oh, good point.
yeah, it's gonna be green also.
Might I make a suggestion?
Sure.
The trim is white. I'd probably offset that and keep that white, and I'd probably make the shutters white, or keep, whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
Just, yeah?
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's like a dark blue.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay. It's just that way it offsets it a little bit and breaks up.
maybe.
So if it's,
Yes, you can do it.
and those are, what do you say, Tom, white for the shutters?
I don't know.
I think it's gonna be good.
Or black?
White, yeah.
I think Commissioner Cronin might be onto something. We could invert the plan and have the doors and the windows green, and then
Oh.
have everything else white? Is
It's
that what you were
because
suggesting?
it's already white and it gets so dirty.
Yeah.
That's why you want to put a color on it, because it looks so dirty now.
Understandable.
Or even the shutters, you could do like a, you know, a real pale yellow with the green, you know.
Yeah.
Could look good too. I like the idea of the white with the green, but
Gonna get a letter from Town Hall for the microphone.
I'm concerned that if we have the entire building that color on Main Street, there could be a pink that's the same color that we allow for signage that then becomes the front of an entire building as well. And I guess at some point, do we look at what it is bringing for the historic, how much of the coverage? Can we look at it?
Are we still open for public comment?
Close public comment.
Oh, you never opened it.
never opened it.
Oh,
No, not for this one.
not for this one? Oh, I'm sorry. I will be going to that in a moment.
Okay, sorry.
You're right, it wasn't for this one. We're having so much fun with this. So, thank you for bringing that to my attention. So,
You know, if it's a white is too dirty, then you could do maybe an off-white or beige or something, but the green, I would just find that we just open it up for ourselves not to have an historic, even though the color is in the palette, from a historic standpoint, maintaining the character is a little bit too much.
It's because you already have another places on Main Street. It's everything yellow. Another one is everything pink. That's why you have a green decoration inside, and everybody loves it, the decoration. That's why you want to put a green outside too.
is there a reason, is there some sort of a sigh? I'm doing that right.
Yeah.
Is that, is the green somehow pertinent to that, just out of curiosity?
Yeah.
Okay. It is on the palette. It is an approved historic color. I can understand not wanting all white, because if it is dirty and you have to clean it, I can
Yeah, you
understand
try
that.
to clean, but it's so that it's impossible to stay.
Yeah.
Why?
How do commissioners feel about white trim and then whatever to do with the shutters? The green, white trim, white, break it up and not vertical with white. Sign stays the same. You have the white trim around the windows upstairs, but then it's just whether or not to offset it with the shutters with the white. I think the green shutters being green on green would be overwhelming.
That's okay. You just want to.
But how do you
Put
feel
some
about that? I
color.
mean, I'm only a voice here. Are other suggestions?
Now, I'm thinking, you know, there's a lot, if you do a lot of the white trim and the white centerpiece, and, you know, and the side pieces, wood is all, that would be white. I don't think the green on the body would be that
Yeah, it offsets it.
offensive, you know.
What are you saying for the shutters, though?
Shutters have to be not green, you know. I would say either go to a, you know, traditional black or do a very pale yellow. If you're gonna do the green, you know, like that. You know, I'm not great with that. I just know all green would be entirely too much. You get down to which colors it's gonna be, you know, I'm not that great at that. You know, I look at, you know, you look at over near Bradford, so it's two buildings, 255 Main Street. They've done a green and an off yellow and combinations of colors, and I think it really comes off really, really well.
It does.
Yeah, excuse me.
It does.
It does.
And that came before us. Yeah.
And I just think all green would be entirely too much for what, I don't understand white why it's dirty. I grew up in a town where every building was white and all looked pretty good, you know, but I think green with white trim and then the coordinating color shutter would, I would not be opposed to.
I don't know about maybe using the color, the background in the sign for the shutters.
Oh, that's a point. You mean the yellow in there or the
No, the
burgundy?
background of the sign
Burgundy?
looks more like a maroon or a wine or something that might look kind of cool. Make the shutters the same color as the something.
How do you feel about that? It's
I
your-
just wanna colors who's match with the
ties it.
sign, you know?
Okay. Well, in that case, they would. She wants them to match with the sign.
Just a suggestion. There's lots of siding around the windows and the doors, so there will be some green accents
So,
on those siding panels. It's not going to be a solid white first floor.
so our applicant is
Yeah.
being more than willing to work with us, so if we
It
can
would
help her
really-
out here to put something together that she likes.
Yeah, I think that would be, I'm in agreement with that.
I'd like to see if the bottom half would be the green, and then the top find a different color, like a pale or beige or something that wouldn't show the dirt, but to break up that. And what about the side? The other, that building goes down the alley and down the sides. What are the sides going to be?
It's the same color,
White? Oh, green.
green.
To me, that's a lot of green on it, kind of. I understand that there are other storefronts that
Yeah.
have the colors, but I don't know that they have, I'm trying to think of one that would be on Main Street that would have all of that.
Yeah, they
Like
have
that.
another one, it's everything pink. And they have another one, it's everything yellow. The front, the sides. The ice cream is everything
Pink
pink.
with white, yeah.
The Perry Lima, it's everything yellow. The front, the
Right.
sides.
It's, yes, and those were approved, right?
So we've kind of slid into the deliberation part. I'm going to open up public comment real quick
Okay.
to see if that helps us, and then go back to deliberation. So I will open up public comment.
Yeah, I actually, yeah, sure. Paulo Paraguay, fellow
Can
Main
I
Street.
get you to sign in, please?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So fellow
Thank
Main Street business owner. Just want to chime in. I understand where the applicant is coming from. There are other businesses on the street that have solid colors. For instance, they're pink or yellow. I think where the applicant is coming from is that her building is kind of set back from Main Street. So in reality, you can't really see it in a way being all white set back where it's currently located. So that's, and I'll be honest, that's what I've thought when I've driven by. They've done a great job with their signage, but it is a little bit hidden there for what they're trying to offer. So that gives a hint for the color, but I do agree with the board that it would be beneficial for the aesthetics to have some white trim or match the color of the shutters to match the signage. So I do understand the applicant's concern with the other buildings on the Main Street are solid colors, either, you know, like a cream, bold cream, or pink, or yellow, for my take.
Is that going to be sufficient for you? Okay. Okay. Right, just wanted to make sure we have what we are. Okay. All right. So, Town Councilor Lucky.
Yeah, Betty Lutke. I want to echo what Paulo was saying and what the applicant is saying. Very familiar with this store because my daughter's in love with it, and I've gone in there many times, as does she and her friends from the schools. They love the SIE, you know, and I'll just make a little comment about that. It's available at Gone Chocolate in Osterville. She used to have to go there, and now it's at the Milkshake at the mall, and here it is on Main Street. And that's something I think, and when I think back to your opening comment, Chairman Powell, about, you know, what we're really doing, and it's so fantastic to me that we have this Gone Açaí, you know, the Brazilian. I had it first when I was down in Brazil. I mean, it's fantastic. I just love that this is here, and it's not competing, you know, it's everywhere. It's at the mall, it's in different towns. So that's one thing. And I love the pop of color, and I think he's right. As you drive by, it looks dingy to me. The sign is beautiful, but it's dingy and it's set back. And I think the color, and I think about when I drive on 6A, some of the most beautiful houses are those ones that do have those old colors and they're solid. You know, I'm not a commissioner, but maybe you want to continue it so she comes back and gives you a rendering, you know, so you have a solid sense and give her a chance to to show you exactly what it might look like. But I really love the color she's chosen. I think it's a good color. It's complementary.
It's a happy color.
Yes.
Yeah. How would you feel about that, continuing it to the next one, and you could work with staff to kind of iron that out more firmly? Jim, looks like you have something to say.
Well, the only thing is when, in working with the applicant, I know she had a very tight timeline for painting. That was the only thing I was going to offer out there.
What is your timeline?
For
Now?
yeah, now.
Okay. Do you think we can come up with something for her? Yeah. Okay. Let's help her out.
To vote on all green?
Well, come up with to help her out with what she wants. So she's saying green, she'll have the white trim. Correct me if I'm
Yes.
wrong on this. She wants possibly the shutters the same color as the back part of the sign. Am I understanding that right?
Or if I can put the shadows white too, or black, white no black too. For the shadows.
Shutters. What color do you want them?
I
White?
can put a white, no black.
Okay. That sounds good to me. How does that sound to the other commissioners? Yeah?
But we're going to be we have to specify all sides of the building.
All
We're going to have the white trim with the gray.
Yes, and the shutters,
They're going to either be the back color of the sign or black.
the shutters are going to be the
white.
white, she said.
Oh, white.
Yeah.
Fix it up. Sign stays as it is.
Yes.
We okay with that? Okay, so closing public comment. Do we need to make a motion to close public
I'll
comment?
move that we close
Here we go.
public comment.
Is there a second?
Second.
Matt, let's start with you. Commissioner Clark. I don't start with you very often.
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty.
Aye.
Commissioner Kay. Commissioner Cronin. We're closing public comment.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Carley.
Aye.
Okay. Is there any more deliberation before I request a motion? Commissioner Cronin, it sounded like you might have something to say.
Would the applicant consider the bottom, or either the top part with the color and leaving the bottom with to break it up, rather than having it all green on all sides and in the front?
Or how do the other commissioners feel about that? Do they want it broken up or not?
Like keeping the bottom, or either the top or the bottom. I think if you want to bring the color to that, you can do it with the first floor, and maybe the sides stay with a more of a washer-friendly color. Because the color's going to get, the building's going to get dirty, either with whatever color you have on it.
What she's pointing out is that the white shows the dirt more, which we know
True.
is true.
True.
Commissioner Kay, what's your
No, I prefer to do the whole building green.
whole building? Okay. Commissioner Doherty?
Do the whole building.
Green. With the trim and the...
With the white trim. and-
White, yeah.
Oh, yes, aye. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, we
I'll do
haven't,
it
good,
unanimous.
it's not a vote yet.
It's not a
Okay.
vote. I was just trying to see if there was an option for breaking that particular color up off Main Street.
So why don't I'm going to ask for a motion, and we'll see how that goes. Would one of the commissioners like to make the motion?
What happened to it?
That's what I was looking for. I move that the commission find the application to be compatible with the preservation and protection of the district at 372 Main Street.
This is actually 561 Main Street.
561.
Maps 308.
We have to specify that the body on all sides of the building will be green, all wood trim around windows and siding will be white.
And the shutter's white.
And the shutters.
I'll second that.
Okay. Commissioner Kay. Commissioner Doherty.
Aye.
Commissioner Clark.
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin.
Aye.
Commissioner Crowley.
Aye.
I also say aye. Would we like to make a motion for the certificate of appropriateness, please?
I'll make that motion that I move to issue a certificate of appropriateness for the application at 561 Main Street, Hyannis, as described in the submitted material.
Excellent. Is there a second? Okay. Commissioner Cronin?
Aye.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty?
Aye.
Commissioner Kay?
Aye.
I also say aye. Congratulations.
Thank
And you can liaise with the staff, and they'll, just help you with it.
Okay.
I'll give this back. I haven't written on it. Okay, so. Yes. Bruce Calabro, 439 South Street, Hyannis, map 308, parcel 194, with regards to garage skylights. Hi. Extra one of those? Oh, it's some, yeah, this one I do need because it's a new one. I had the other stuff. Yep, thank you. I can't see. A little bit about your project.
So I am converting half of our detached garage to an artist workshop for my wife, Carolyn. And after I began, we discussed that some skylights would help bring in more natural light than a little bit of window. So hence this application here. And if it is approved by this commission, then when we replace the roof, will also have to be done sometime soon. I'll include the skylights in that application for the building department. But I wanted to get the yay or nay here now, even though we're not doing the roof just yet, because it determines what I do on the inside.
Okay, I understand. So, sweet, you're doing that for your wife, for an art. What kind of artist is she?
I work in glass.
Terrific. Sorry, welcome.
Thank you.
Currently renting space from the town right next door.
Okay. You said that you'd be coming back for the skylights, so,
Well, with the, with, I'll probably hire someone to do the roof, but either way, it'll have to, I'll have to get a permit from the building department, and so the actual installation would be done with the roof.
okay. So tonight you are asking for skylights?
Correct.
Okay, just when you said coming back for the skylight, I
Oh,
thought,
sorry, yes, I did mean here.
okay, right, okay, gotcha. Anything more? There doesn't have to be, it's just, nope.
I don't think so.
Okay. Commissioners, what do you think about the presentation? Any questions?
I think
I'm
you're doing us a favor
fascinated
by
with-
even coming here.
I'm sorry, pardon what?
I think you're doing us a favor by even coming here. You want to put 3 skylights on a roof that's invisible from the road, that's great. So
They're slightly visible, but even so, we're in the
not doing
historic
yourself any
commission.
favors, I'm trying to give you a yes. Get you out of here.
Well, the house is in the historic district, that's just why we're.
What I'm saying is thank you for your
Thank you.
consideration. It-
You're welcome.
It looks nice, and
I'm fascinated with the choice of west roof. So you're going to get the afternoon light instead of the morning light. The
Good point.
east roof gets the morning light. So I'm just curious.
Well, yes, the studio, workshop,
Oh, so you're gonna have-
is on the west side of the garage, so that's the
Never
side of the
mind.
roof.
Never mind.
That gets
you
the
get
skylights.
Less light.
Okay.
Okay.
We can't
Very good.
dictate east or
I envisioned
west.
that the whole garage was one room, so that's the reason I just said east and west.
Commissioner Cronin, you look like you
I
want
have
to
a
say something.
question. Are skylights are permitted in the historic district?
I don't think we even reference skylights in roofing. I will say there are a number of skylights in the historic district.
There is precedent.
Here they are,
Yes, there is
everywhere.
precedent. And the precedent, that we have approved a number of them, but the general rule has been, and I think it was Commissioner Clark who pointed it out, they're set back far enough that you don't really see them.
I just wanted to clarify, because I didn't find anything in there, so I just wanted to make sure that there is no other specifications other than what
Yeah.
is before us.
We approved another one about a year ago on Main Street. And I don't think we should say who the applicant was, but how many skylights were on that whole roof? It was the whole roof, but we couldn't see it from the road, so therefore it was acceptable.
Thank you.
Yeah, to your question, I don't believe that is referenced in our guidelines, and historically, the question has been, does it match the roof color to the greatest extent possible?
Well, at the moment, the roof color is a dark green. So when we replace the roof and install the skylights, we'll go with a color similar to the skylights.
Close.
It's a bronze, isn't it?
Well, here's a color sample from Certainteed, and they're mostly dark colors, so it would be something in one of these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can get close enough. Yeah.
The application says dark gray.
Okay. Then that works. Any more about the presentation? Opening it up for public comment? Okay. In that case, how do we feel about it? Deliberation?
Looks okay. Fine. Just fine.
Fine? Okay, that works for me. I see nodding heads. Anyone else? All right. In that case, close public comment. Is it-
I move that we close public comment.
Second.
All right. Commissioner Cowley?
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin?
Aye.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty?
Aye.
Commissioner Kay?
Aye.
I also say aye. Public comment is closed. And do you feel about it? Are we ready for a motion? Or you want to discuss it further? Or
Ready? Ready?
we all right with that? So go for a motion. We want to remember that the color will, be in accordance with the skylights. And he has put gray on there, so that kind of works. So it's as submitted. Would one of the commissioners like to make a motion on the findings, please?
I move the commission finds this application to be compatible with the preservation and protection of the district.
Second.
All right. Commissioner Kay?
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin?
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty?
Aye.
Commissioner Crowley?
Aye.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Make a motion on the certificate of appropriateness, please.
I will. I move to issue a certificate of appropriateness for the application at 439 South Street, Hyannis, as described in the submitted materials.
I'll second that.
Okay, Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Kay? Commissioner Crowley?
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty?
All over the place. They got me totally confused.
I'm sorry, did you say Cronin or Doherty?
Doherty? Commissioner Cronin?
Aye.
I just confuse you guys. It's intentional. I don't want to show preference. I also say aye. One person be first all the time. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you all.
It looks nice.
Thank you.
Good luck with your glassworks.
Thank you.
All right. Paulo Paraguay, DBA Palos Pizzeria,
minutes first.
435 Main Street, Hyannis, map 308, parcel 080. If you could sign in, please. Thank
I
you.
signed
so-
in earlier.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. No, no problem.
Patience.
No, absolutely. Good evening, good night. Paulo Paraguay, Polio Pizzeria, 435 Main Street, Hyannis. So as you can see in your package, today we're here proposing some patio lighting above our patio and grass area. We had recently been awarded a grant for a facade grant through the Hyannis Main Street Business Improvement, sponsored by the State Transformation Development Initiative. So we've done extensive improvements to the outside of the building, from, you know, hardscape to power washing and all of that. And now we're looking to add some light and more vibrant, make that area a little bit more vibrant, that patio area. And we're also asking for a high top that will be located on top of that brick area that we just put down. That would be facing Main Street.
Excellent.
And we will need, as you can see from that first drawing with the yellow is the lights. The 3 dots there would be the 3 poles that we would need to install to connect to the lights. So the 3 poles will, you know, the lights will attach to each pole, connecting it back to our building. And all the project does take place on private property. Lights have also been, these lights are the ones suggested by the Hyannis Business Improvement District, which are other lights being used in the Main Street area and other establishments. And happy to answer any questions.
Which lights are they, please?
Correct. Yes.
I don't understand, where are the high tops going?
So the high top is going on that patio area. Do you see that patio where the brick?
Oh,
Trying to clarify, my memory didn't serve me.
That looks very nice, by the way.
Thank you.
And there'll be the lights all over just the patio area.
Nope, completely. So if you look at that first drawing that has the yellow, I don't know if yours printed in color. So the yellow are the lights. So we're looking at 9 rows of lights covering the whole grass and patio area.
You're talking about these here.
Sorry, this one over here.
Oh, those, okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. It should be the second,
I see it,
the
I know what it
first
is.
after the.
Yep.
I got it.
Yep. So the yellow is represents where the lights would be taking place. The black is where the galvanized steel. And just to make, since I heard the 16, you know, earlier, they're only 12 feet high. Okay.
It's very nicely presented, thank you.
And I know there's a picture with the stools there. Those stools will not be used. We're continuing to use our high tops that match our current outdoor seating that has been previously approved by Historic.
I remember that. Right.
Those them here
Correct, yes, so those in a high top format.
with high-top stools?
Correct, high top chairs, yes. Not stools, chairs.
Chairs.
Yep, so they're.
High, with the high topped.
Correct. Yeah, and there was only one set facing Main Street, so, you know, we recently upgraded our grease trap to meet DPW compliance, so now we have a lot more, you know, 132 seats now, so we're looking to utilize every seat possible.
I love it, looks great.
I love it too.
Absolutely, I love outdoor lighting, it just makes the whole street exciting.
Yeah.
Just what they're doing with the beer garden. You know,
Exactly, yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just,
In that back area there, I don't know if you can see it, we've also applied for our extended entertainment license. That's where we have our band, our jazz Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights, and then.
I love your pizza, by the way.
Thank you.
That cannot influence your vote.
That's all.
So, is there anything else on the presentation?
No, that's it. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Great.
Okay.
Great.
that case, I'll open it up for public comment for the hordes of people that we have running through the door. And we'll go into deliberation. So I think I know pretty much what the deliberation is going to be, but please, what do you feel about it?
I think it's great.
Come a long way since the Ryan Family Amusement Space.
On both sides.
You guys do a great job there, and it's nice to just see you keep expanding. And thank you,
Excellent.
appreciate it. Growing, yeah.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll just make a comment that I just think it's fantastic how the school space there,
Yeah.
which becomes kind of dead after school hours, and you're bringing such life and vitality to it.
Yeah.
And I can't agree more with Tom. Lighting makes such a difference.
It really does.
It's absolutely incredible. It's beautiful, Paulo. Thank you.
Thank you, and that's one of our, something that we really enjoy, and I myself have enjoyed, is that the kids are actually get to take advantage of it. And as you know, Sturgis doesn't have their own, cafeteria, so, we're pretty much the cafeteria. So it's become, after all the improvements, and now that the weather's nice, it's great to see everyone hanging out there, and we have games out, and, they have a good time.
Yeah, it is nice. I mean, Sturgis, unlike Barnstable, they have a free hour.
Yep.
They can jump in their cars and drive somewhere, or they can go to Main Street. So that's one of the really nice things that makes Sturgis blend in during the school day.
Yep.
It's very good.
It's a lot different from my school days when you had the old metal trays. But, yeah, I think it's great. Anyway, so are we ready to close public comment?
I move to close public comment.
A second?
Second.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Clark. Okay, so we'll start with Commissioner Clark.
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty?
Aye.
Commissioner Kay?
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin?
Aye.
Mr. Crowley?
Aye.
I also say aye. And would one of the commissioners like to make a motion on the findings?
I move that the commission find the application to be compatible with preservation and protection of the district at 435 Main Street, Hyannis.
I'll second that.
Okay, so Commissioner Crowley?
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin?
Aye.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty?
Aye.
Commissioner Kay?
Aye.
I also say aye. Would a commissioner like to make a motion, please, on the certificate of appropriateness?
I move that the commissioners, I move that they make a issue of certificate of appropriateness for application at 435 Main Street, as described in the submitted materials.
Second.
Commissioner Crowley?
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin?
Aye.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty?
Aye.
Commissioner Kay?
Aye.
I also say aye. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank
I'm
you.
I'm
your
looking
time
forward to
today.
seeing that, and thank you
Thank
for your
you.
patience.
Oh, no,
It's
no,
been a
thank
long
you.
night.
No,
Yeah, you're very
thank you.
patient.
A lot of it was definitely out of your control, so. Thank you very
I'm
much.
so sorry
Thank
it
you.
looked that way.
Thank you. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you, too.
Okay. Matters not reasonably anticipated by the chair. Mr. Doherty, you asked for something on that one.
Yes. A few weeks ago, we approved, I'll pass these down, wall art on the library. And we gave them, a chance. We gave them until Labor Day, to work on this project. And I went down there in May, and some of these pictures are from
Thank you.
May.
I think I have them.
It was just getting started. And then today I went down and I saw, it's the same thing. It's to me, it's graffiti art, okay? And I know Elizabeth spends a lot of time
Do you wanna
cleaning
pass
up
these around
graffiti, all over the town.
Commissioner Crowley.
I don't know if you've seen this in person, but you should go see it. I really don't think it fits into the historic district, of this type of art, in town. I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. I know they have until Labor Day, but is this what we expected? Is this what we want on the wall of a historic library? Because we can call them back anytime.
We put a condition in there. We can call them back at any time.
Is that graffiti all over some of these
That is
signs?
graffiti.
That is.
No, that's art.
That's art.
But it's all art.
That white is part of the art?
That's part of the art.
No, it's somebody
Oh, I
put,
thought it was been tagged.
that's what it looks like, because there was art on there, and then there's somebody that's come in and looks like it's over-tagged it.
Oh, so is it?
And if they've tried to clean up some of it, but,
You know, I'm very, you know, I grew up in New York, and I remember the subways being, you know, written all over, you know, with it. It was horrible. It looked awful. It just, to me, doesn't send the image that the historic district of Hyannis wants to send. I love the idea where people could go, like, you know, do
Yeah.
artwork if it was controlled, and like we put all stipulations on the last time we were there. You know, we didn't want anything to get any profanity naturally on the wall. But I just don't see the purpose of this. And I just wanted to bring it up to the commissioners.
The one on the left isn't so bad, but the others, when you say it's been tagged, does that mean that there was art there and then somebody's come by and put something over the top?
The one on the
Yes,
left
please.
is not intact like that anymore. The bottom half of it looks like the ones next to it at this
Says-
point.
So somebody has gone and put graffiti on it, is that it?
I think you're calling it graffiti. I think they're
Sorry,
giving
yeah.
people the equipment to do this, or equipment, you know, paint. I think that's just what
That's kinda what it looks
there you
like
go.
now.
Yeah, so.
so that was what it will look like. And now, this is what it is now.
Oh, would you mind passing that
generating
down?
Rapidly.
So it's an ongoing thing, huh, where they can just come and paint over it and keep going?
They're supposed to go into, the stipulation was they were supposed to go into the library
Yeah.
and register. And they didn't have to register what they were gonna do, they just had to register. And I guess that's taking place. And when I went down there and I took these pictures, and there was an artist out front, and she looked at me like, "What's wrong?" You know, and I said, "This is graffiti art," you know. And she said, "Yes, that's the way it's supposed to be." I said, "Okay." And, you know, I guess there was a question on my face, and another woman was with her, and
Might
she
wanna
goes,
pass that
"Well, I don't understand Picasso either," you know. But I kind of do understand Picasso. But, yeah, so I don't know, I just wanted to bring this to everybody's attention. And you really got to see it in person, if this is what we want in our town.
Yeah. I was down there a couple times and it hadn't started yet, so,
Well, maybe another thing to look at is, I'd much rather see it where it is and controlled this way than on any old building they want to go and splatter paint on. I mean,
splatter paint on a
give them
building
a
that's
place to
vandalism.
focus this energy on, that's
can't
their
just-
expression.
Yeah.
But are we actually having a graffiti problem in Hyannis that we're trying to curtail by doing this on the library?
Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
have
It's
a
a
little
good
bit
point.
of graffiti, but nothing to the extent of this.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth goes down every morning and washes it off and cleans it up, you know, so people don't see
Does it
it.
all wash off?
What?
Does it wash off?
I don't know, Elizabeth says she covers it up or cleans it up somehow.
She probably spray paints over
Looks
it.
like it's probably covering.
Wow. Okay.
Can I suggest that, when is our next meeting? It's,
You know,
21st, or, yeah, 21st,
23rd.
in July. Can I suggest that between now, we have a special presentation on July 5th, and that's going to be by Zoom. Because, I'm going to interrupt this for a second, because I'm going to make a suggestion. You want to explain what's going to happen on July 5th?
Sure, I was going to hold the excitement until our meeting schedule, but yeah, no. July 5th, we're just, I asked the chair if we could please hold it virtually, because we would like to invite our architects who are working on the design guidelines in to give the full commission a presentation on where we stand with it and get your early feedback. So that would take place on July 5th. So that's going to be, we're hoping that would be the bulk of the agenda, if possible.
Yeah. So, not on July 5th, but on July 21st, if we could monitor it more between now, or June 21st, between now and June 21st, so we have the changes on these. I'm happy to go down and take pictures as well. And then on June 21st, see if we would want to ask them to come back in. How do people feel about that? I don't like to curtail art, but I do agree it looks more like graffiti than art. But if to be fair, there's a lot of people who could say that is priceless art.
Or,
Yeah.
you know, I'm no art critic, okay? And art is in the eye of the beholder, as we all know, all right? But really, I'm saying, I don't want this type of art, whether you like it or you don't like it, in the historic district.
I understand what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. You know, I don't know if this is good art, bad art, you know, what to say, but to me, this reminds me of areas in New York I used to walk around and I used to cringe in, you know, so, and, you know, and I kind of, you know, said, well, I'm thinking, okay, well, they have to come back, it was only until Labor Day.
Yes, that's right.
But again, we're going into the tourist season, and we're gonna, you know, July and August, we're full of tourists, all right? And they're gonna see this, and they're gonna associate this with Hyannis, and that's what I don't like.
Yeah, and bringing them back was not stipulated for after Labor Day, after the, you know, that time.
After Labor
So we
Day.
can bring it back in and try to get it changed around a little bit.
So you're saying monitor it until our next meeting and see if it gets better or changes, or then we call them back in?
Well, I'm only one voice here. What does everybody else feel?
What can we do? But
We
what is
do-
the
we
extent of
do-
our authority?
We approved it on the basis of multi-conditions. Karen, if you could send them a copy of the
No need,
the
no need,
date.
just generally.
But because of our concerns, that if there, like, there was no political stuff, you know, vote for this person, vote for that person, there was no insults, you know, nothing that you can't take a child to, because this is a public place, a public library. You know, there is inappropriate art, and that if their work, they had to have, I'm trying to think what they called it, the meshes that they would put up over things if they were inappropriate, and I wonder if that's what these rectangles are. But and that if we had concerns, we could ask them to come back in to readdress some of the responses and reactions to what was going on.
I don't remember that the presentation that we had with her indicated that that's what was going to be happening. She thought it was going to be school kids that were doing art,
Yeah.
and I think we all just made some assumptions that,
Well, I thought there was going to be something similar to this one on the left here.
First one, right?
Yeah, first one, simply because if this is spray can art, it's not mural, you know, you
Yeah.
paintbrush and that, it's spray can art. But,
pretty clear for spray can art. Either that or I don't know how to do spray can art.
Does anybody know if there's been any reaction in the town to the town manager, or?
So honestly, you know, I'm not speaking for or against it. I'll say First Fridays, that was the most popular spot on Main Street. This past Friday, people walking up and down, and maybe that's the clientele that would go to this type of areas, those, you know, frequenting First Friday. But I would say
What's First Friday? I don't know.
it's Elizabeth Worthbane and the bids, exciting opportunities for Friday to get everyone on Main Street. All the restaurants band together, and there was music and all the locations. It was a great night. The weather was beautiful, and they had a band over here on the library, and kids were, you know, joining in and painting. I haven't received any formal concerns. But obviously there's certainly chatter about.
so, and I agree with Jack, I think it was you that brought it up, would they use somebody's business wall if they can't have a designated place? We also have to bear in mind that the library looks at this every day, and what are their reactions? But, what do you want to do?
You said we couldn't do it in July? Or I mean, the second one in June?
5th of July is going to be
No,
by
the
Zoom.
second one for June, meeting for June.
June 21st, we can rediscuss it and look at it, or something like that, or?
Well, no, I didn't know if that would be an option to have them come back and just
That's an option.
is to see if this is something that, because clearly somebody's going in and cleaning it up. You can tell by what was there before, back in May, and what's there now.
Yeah.
Who would tell us that? Would the library tell us that, or?
Well, whoever is sponsoring this, because it was that group, the applicant. And I think that we do have some concerns, and we can maybe, if we are able to bring them up now, they might be able to put something else in place to prohibit it from having to be tagged, or if they come in and say there's nothing wrong with it, then we can have a discussion on that as well. But I would agree that it's, the only comment that I was given was that they had walked down through Main Street down and up to the post office, and they wanted to know if that was approved through historic. And I said, yes, but at the time, it was more in line with that first panel. And the second panel, I think it was during Open Streets, where there was a lot of kids and families in there. But I haven't been back there since, and it did not look like this. So,
Yeah. The other panels look like a hodgepodge, and they're all pretty similar.
May I say they look like kids painted on them? Because that's probably what happened.
but that's okay if that was just
Point.
it. But you've got the white kind of graffiti over it, and you've got something on the top that now has been.
How tall are these? How'd they ever get up that high? It appears to be high by the height of the windows. Are they like 10, 12 feet tall?
12 feet.
Yeah, about 12.
Take it up 12 feet.
The first one.
So they put scaffolding up for these guys?
No, they probably have paints, things with sticks on them or
Might
something.
be it, like the first panel is a Core July.
Right.
They do that one, because I asked them the question then, how much room are you gonna leave for the kids? And
Right.
that could be, the two other panels could be the kids where they're doing it by themselves.
This is Joey Mars. He's all over Provincetown.
Yeah, he
does
is.
Buildings
Oh,
all
yeah.
over.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, I think this is their idea, is that somebody will do something like that, and then anyone else is free to just come and cover it like the version that Cheryl has.
Yeah.
So, in a matter of a few days, it gets covered and starts to look like this.
Joey Mars was the example they used.
So then they're doing actually what they told us that they were doing. So I guess the question is to Christian, do we like this? Is this what we want in downtown Hyannis? I don't know.
We've got the July 21st, keep doing it, June 21st, and then we have July 5th, which is going to be on Zoom. Do we know what the one is after July 5th offhand? Well, 2 weeks after that, anyway, right? 2 weeks after that. So why don't we monitor it, compare pictures again on the 21st? And we have the Zoom one on the 5th. And if by that time it's still a concern, then ask them to come into the next meeting. That would still give them August to changes on it.
Do we want to give them some advance notice that we're going to monitor this, to give them an opportunity to think about it, rather than blindside them?
I would have to look at the decision, how it's written, and how it was phrased at the meeting. But, I could certainly reach out to them and say, there was some initial concerns. Like, is there any opportunities to do some
kinda
early
give them
improvement?
an opportunity to think about what.
That's a good idea.
What to do.
It came up, we're going to be monitoring. That's an excellent idea. Just touch base, we'll be monitoring and seeing what it is.
Yeah.
Because part of this could be, teething pains, trying to get down how to get people to interested and active, and then trying to clean it up so they can do the same again. It does look to me like they stay off the Joey Mars one.
No, that one has, it has
that's
been
that one?
graffiti.
Got it a day later.
Yeah.
Oh, right, oh, that's that one, is it? Okay. I couldn't tell. That's right, it is.
My concern was giving them till August.
That's right, I did see
Allows
that.
another
Yeah.
2 months worth of,
Well, how much notice?
Well, if we give them a heads up, that, we're monitoring it, and we did say that we would monitor it.
How much notice do we have to give them if we monitor it? I'd like to do it before July 4th. And
That's your point.
That time of
Right,
year.
I'd agree.
If we monitor it the next couple of weeks, how much time do we need them to come in? And could
Well-
it be the couple days before our meeting on the 21st?
Karen, do you want us to say, ask them, invite them to come in for the 21st, and that, you know, we've been monitoring it and see if it changes by the 21st?
How much time do we have to give them? Like, you know,
There wasn't anything that stipulated how much time. It just said that, if I remember correctly, that if there were concerns that were voiced, that they would have to come back before us, before the Labor Day.
At any time.
Yeah.
So I could certainly provide the commission with the decision that was rendered, and so that everyone sees how it's worded. I
That's
can
fine.
certainly reach out to them and let them know you guys are monitoring it. If you guys want them back for the 21st, you know, we can certainly reach out to them and see if they're available.
If we could look at the decision, thank you. I remember there were definitely stipulations on that. Okay, thank you very much, Tom, for taking those photos and bringing that to our attention. All right. And next time, we'll put that on the agenda as well. Okay, approval of May 17th minutes, draft minutes. Everybody read them?
Yes.
Yep. Would somebody like to make a motion to accept the May 17th minutes?
I'll make the motion. We accept these minutes.
Second?
Seconded? Okay, Commissioner Carley.
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin.
Aye.
Commissioner Clark.
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty.
Aye.
Commissioner Kay. I also say aye. Thanks very much for your help tonight, guys. You know, we work very, very strongly together as a commission. I very much appreciate that. Thank you. And we have a new person coming on. Right? I can't think of their name. We have a new.
Kevin Matthews.
That's right. And he sent an email that he wants to go under a certain name, so it is the Matthews, okay.
He didn't want to come tonight because he wasn't familiar with
Okay,
that. So he couldn't review the agenda.
that's okay, that's fine. Okey dokey, so, next meeting is June 21st. I'm sorry, what? Okay, next meeting is June 21st. Would one of the commissioners like to make a motion for adjournment?
I make a motion to adjourn?
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Carley?
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin?
Aye.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty?
Aye.
Commissioner Kay?
Aye.
I also say aye. We are adjourned.